Hi everyone, David Aragona and Mike Beer here taking a look at one of the Grade 1 races on opening day of the Santa Anita Winter Meet, which this year will not be the day after Christmas, December 26th. They have moved it back 2 days to Sunday, December 28th, due to some torrential downpours that are expected in the Southern California area. So hopefully we get all these races in on a fast dirt track and on the turf. Fingers crossed for that. We're going to take a look at race 8 on that Sunday card. It is the Grade 1 La Brea. 11 3-year-old fillies entered to go this 7 furlong distance. And Mike, we've got several Bob Baffert runners in here, not as many as we'll see in the Malibu, which we'll also do a stakes preview for the Sunday race of the day. But I think we have 3 Bob Baffert trainees in here. Seems like they all have a decent chance, but I think the favorite is likely to be the number 9, Formula Rosa, a lightly raced filly for trainer Mark Glatt, who has shown real talent in her 3 prior starts.
That's how I looked at it too. It'll be interesting to see how they bet this race, because I do feel like it's kind of wide open. It's a very interesting race to handicap because there are horses coming from a lot of different directions, a few turnbacks in here, things like that. But when you watch Formula Rosa race, you kind of get the idea that she's got a lot of talent. I think she is the horse to beat.
And she's also got a lot of early speed. And I'm going to be interested to see how this field sorts itself out on the front end, because it feels like a lot of horses in here, Mike, especially some of those drawn towards the outside of the starting gate, really do want to go forward. Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector to see which horses Timeform US has in front. And got a couple of the Baffert horses up there. The number 6, Brilliantly, the number 11, Silent Law. I think even the number 5, Usha, the other Baffert runner, has a chance to make the front end here. I'll be interested to see what the tactics are, because it would be surprising if all 3 Bob Baffert runners were gung-ho to get the lead in here. But you know that Formula Rosa has very natural tactical speed. I don't know if she needs to be in front, but I would expect her to be somewhere up there.
I do too. Yeah, all the you're used to seeing the Baffert horses with plenty of natural speed. That's the case in here. The trick usually is when he has more than one in the races, which one's going and which one isn't. So you got to figure that out. I think you're right though. Formula Rosa is gonna go. She's been super handy in her races. I mean, she's right up there, but they really take a hold of this horse early. It's not like they're letting her run off to the lead. I wonder how aggressive Smith will get in here.
It does feel like there is a ton of early speed signed on. So do note the horse with the highest Timeform US late pace rating in the race is the number 8, Her Laugh, who does figure to get an off-the-pace trip. Let's go through this field from the rail out, beginning with the number 1, Simply Joking. One of 2 former Whit Beckman runners in this race. That was once upon a time on the Kentucky Oaks Trail. Going long didn't really work out for her. She was actually 13th in the Kentucky Oaks, but she's come back in the barn of trader Michael McCarthy. Tried to turn back off the layoff in the Raven run at Keeneland, and Mike, that trip just did not work out for her at all. She was steadied, I think, 5 or 6 times in the first 3 furlongs of that race, so she never really had a chance that day. Her last race was a little more disappointing to me because it felt like she got a pretty good trip sitting up on top of what was a moderate pace going the mile distance. She just had no answer for the older, talented Hope Road in the final quarter mile of that race. I guess that I could make the case that she deserves another chance sprinting, but she's gonna have to move forward third off the layoff.
I felt the same way about her. I can see turning back again working for her, and I guess it's at least worth pointing out that Hope Road's a really nice horse, but yeah. I don't know. I wasn't thrilled with her effort last time. I hear what you're saying about the Raven run. You just off the heels early in that race, lost a lot of position. I'm not sure why Dettori was taking such a big hold of her early in that race anyway. The flip side of that is she had absolutely no run once that field came to the stretch. So I still thought, even with the early trouble, she was disappointing that day too. So I just don't really know where she is as far as her form goes. But she showed enough potential early on to give her a second look if she's going to be 20-1, and she's a big price on the line.
Yeah, she trained great coming into that return, and she hasn't really shown that form in the afternoon so far. The number 2, So There She Was. She's a turn back in this race. They tried to just gradually stretch her out a distance since she returned from a layoff this summer, and it worked out decently. I mean, she got a listed stakes victory in the Remington Park Oaks 2-back, beating a heavy Brad Cox trained favorite that day. And then last time out, they tried to go 9 furlongs with her in the Mother Goose. I don't think she really wants to go that far, but that was a solid grade 2 field at Aqueduct. And Mike, I liked the way that she just kept battling on all the way to the end. She got a wide trip around both turns. She was 4 wide early, 3 wide around the second turn, and she just never gave it up. And I really liked the tenacity that was on display that day. And I'm kind of intrigued by her turning back in distance here, because they did rate her and try to finish early in her career. They haven't really done it so far as her 3-year-old, because they've just tried to go forward in the longer races. Yeah. I think this time they're going to take her back, try to make that one run. And it just feels to me like she's sitting on a career best effort, given her form coming in and the workouts that I've seen recently. She's coming coming off a 46 flat gate drill on December 22nd. Seems like Doug O'Neill has her sharp for this one. We'll see if she's good enough.
Exactly. That's the big question. I think it is fair to say that they're going to step her up here into a grade 1 in the best race of her, in the best form of her career. Her last 3 races are actually all pretty good. So listen, maybe turning back will really work for her. I think that's, to me, it's a tough call. It's an easier call to make when she's going to be a big price. And I think she is going to be a big price in here. We'll see how much she can improve.
The number 3, 5G, another one that was on the Kentucky Oaks trail earlier in this year, was actually pointing towards and training towards the Kentucky Oaks when she had to be withdrawn from that race. I think she was actually scratched after having been entered into the field. George Weaver not satisfied with the way she was training the week of that race. And she's been off for a long time since then, Mike. But we'll go all the way back to the last time she won, when she took down the Gulfstream Park Oaks in her final prep for that Kentucky Oaks. And she was pretty good this day. I mean, she beats a horse in Anna's Promise, who came back and actually ran pretty well to finish 5th in the Kentucky Oaks. 5G, she certainly improved when they went long with her as a 3-year-old. But turning back, I mean, she's got tactical speed to get forward. I'm just worried about how much speed is drawn outside of her in this race and the trip she could have coming to her.
Yeah, I wonder how she reacts if she, gets outrun to the lead in this race, which seems like a real possibility. What kind of trip, or how she'll run and what kind of trip she can pull when she doesn't make the lead. But, we're looking at the race you were talking about here, the Cash Run. Not only is it her most impressive win, in my opinion, it's also the last time she went around one turn. And she's back around one turn in this race.
The number 4, Artisma, Mike, I think a horse you've had some interest in the past. I remember you made a case for her in the grade 1 test this summer at Saratoga. She's going to come back into grade 1 waters here, try her hand to do a little better this time. She has been gradually improving from a speed figure standpoint, but boy, she's had some seconditis recently. 2nd in 5 of her last 6 starts, all the races around that test. And I'm a little bothered by it, especially when you watch some of her recent races, because it feels like she's been hanging a little bit, especially the last race. It felt like she had a chance to win that one, just could not forge past. And I imagine that's one reason why the connections are putting blinkers on for this race.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a real problem for her, for sure. You can tell she's got a little bit of talent. She makes runs in her races, but she has been hanging. And last time, first of all, I didn't love the plan. I don't know if it was the rider's plan or Boltus's plan, but just to take a big hold of her in that race and sit 4 wide around the track didn't make a lot of sense to me. But she made a big run on the turn, and she had her head in front in the upper stretch, and she just couldn't get by. And it was a very disappointing loss last time. I want to hold out hope for her, David, especially if she's going to be a price again, or if she's going to be a price this time, and it feels like she will be. But starting to get a little tired of her.
The number 5, Usha, is the first of that Baffert trio that we'll encounter as we go through this race. And Mike, she was pretty impressive, winning a pair of races at Del Mar this summer when she returned from a layoff to make her 3-year-old debut. An 11-length win against Maiden Company, a 5+ length win against Allowance Company. Actually beat a decent field on that occasion, including Artisma, who we just talked about. They tried that Raven run with her at Keeneland last time, and the start wasn't ideal. She wasn't as quick and to stride as you would expect. She had to rush up early, but she got so tired at the end. And it gives me some questions about whether or not she really wants to go the 7 furlongs.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, they did make a sort of a little bit of an early move after not breaking that well in that race, but it's not like she had a huge excuse in there. She just came up totally empty through the stretch. And listen, I think it's also, pretty clear when you look at her PPs, and we'll see, Baffert's going to press on another graded race, but she improved significantly off the layoff with Lasix on for both of those races. Her races, all of her other races are without Lasix, and none of them are that good.
The number 6, brilliantly, is another Bob Baffert trainee in this race, the most lightly raced of the 3 that he has entered in here. And she's actually seeking her first career dirt victory and trying to earn that in a grade 1 race. We'll see how that works out. She broke her maiden going a mile on the turf. And I can kind of see why they tried the turf with her when you watch her run. She's got a big, long stride to her. When you watch her move, she doesn't really strike you as a sprinter. She looks like a horse that probably wants to go a mile and 1/8 on the dirt, and the pedigree would indicate that too. I guess the running in this race, because it came up, and you can expect some improvement second off the layoff. She just obviously got tired when she was involved in that contested pace coming back in that first level allowance at Del Mar last time. And I will say it is noteworthy that Flavian Pratt is landing on this horse, because it does feel like Flavian has the pick of the most live Baffert trainees in these 2 grade 1 races we'll take a look at on the dirt on Sunday. And he's landing on this one. And when I watch her workouts, I understand why, because she is training just out of her skin coming into this race. I still wonder if this 1-turn 7 furlong race is the right fit for her.
Yeah, I noted all the same things there. And Pratt taking the mount made me just take a second look at her, because she's ultimately, David, she's not the kind of horse that I really want in here. She's a speed with a ton of other speed in the race. Her 2 dirt races, they're not bad. And if you want to say she was off the layoff last time and she really needed that race, I guess that's fine. She was involved on the pace with the winner, and to me just wasn't good enough in there. But maybe she needed it. Her only other dirt race, she was 4 to 5 loose on the lead, and Formula Rosa steamrolled her through the stretch.
The number 7 Shilfleet is going to be a gigantic price in this race. She's never run on the dirt before. Her turf form doesn't quite make her good enough. She's hard to make a case for.
Yeah, I passed on this horse pretty quickly.
The number 8, Her Laugh, as mentioned earlier, maybe she's the one that could trip out in this race because she's able to rate behind horses. She's got a decent finish, and maybe getting that race under her belt when she returned last time at Churchill Downs will sharpen up that finish after she got in that prep as she steps up in class back into graded stakes company here. Because, Mike, this horse showed some talent early on in her career before things sort of went off the rails, preparing for the Kentucky Oaks. She didn't break well at Tampa Bay Downs and then threw in a clunker at Fairgrounds. But now she's in the barn of Riley Mott, and maybe she can move forward second off the layoff.
Really liked her debut. The only time they sprinted her early in her career, first time. I thought she ran really well winning that race, David. I understand why they stretched her out. And listen, of course, she won a stage race the first time they stretched her out. So I do think she's talented, but I also, feel like turning back could really work for this horse. And, only second best off the layoff last time, but, you go back and watch that race. I mean, they were kind of walking on the lead in there. This horse didn't break great. Irad just sat off the pace 3 or 4 wide around the track in there and let her run through the stretch. I really felt like that was a prep for this horse. And now they show up shipping across the country in a grade 1, sprinting again. I think she could easily move forward in here.
The number 9 Formula Rosa, she just feels like the horse to beat in this race. She was so impressive winning those first 2 starts of her career earlier this year. Like we said, she beat brilliantly on debut, did so very professionally, came back off the layoff this summer at Del Mar, posted a 98 buyer winning against first level allowance competition. And Mike, maybe they were asking a little much of her coming back 3 weeks later to face a really good older horse like Sweet Azteca. And not only that, but they rode her aggressively to try to beat that foe, just going after her right from the start. And you could see Formula Rosa pays the price in the final 1/8 of a mile here. She just gets visibly tired. Coming back in 3 weeks, probably a little too much given the trip that she got. Now she's had more time between races, and she drew well outside of other speed. She's just landing in a spot where it feels like she is the most likely winner.
That's how I looked at it too. I just think she's the horse to beat in here, even though she's so lightly raced. But I thought it was pretty encouraging, as you pointed out, in the last race there. They knew who the horse to beat was. They actually did try to race her. And then with that stretch run we just showed you, it's not like she threw in the towel, David. I mean, she was no match for that horse, but she just kept after that horse the entire. I really liked that performance. Really liked her first two efforts as well. I think she's the horse to beat.
The number 10 Magnificat. She was the winner of that first level allowance race at Del Mar that we already discussed for Artisma and Brilliantly. We'll take a look at the stretch run of that race. And Mike, I liked the tenacity that Magnificat shows to battle back between horses. Like we said, maybe Artisma was hanging a little bit at the end and it flattered the visual for Magnificat, but she showed the same tendency to dig in and try to get after a horse when she broke her maiden 2 back. So I think she just is that kind of horse that is down for a fight, though she's going to have to do it against a better field here. And she's only earned an 84 buyer as her top. She's going to have to run faster to beat even the horse that we just talked about right next door, Formula Rosa. Her top is 14 points higher, but Spendthrift Farm, they're having a great year, and they did win this race last year with the same connections when Copian posted that big upset.
Yeah, won it with a totally different kind of horse last year, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, this horse, I think that what she has going for her is what you referenced. I mean, she's dead game, all 3 of her races, even in her debut on the grass, just dead game when she gets into a fight through the stretch. She's just not that fast. And we'll see, we'll see what kind of trip she gets in here, because it feels like she's not making the lead this time. And we'll see how much ground she has to make up in the stretch.
Rounding out the field on the outside is the number 11 Silent Law, who will probably be the biggest price of the 3 Baffords in here. She's another one that's got a ton of early speed, really hasn't shown the ability to rate and finish, so I wonder what they're going to do with her breaking outside of all these horses. Mike, she was second in a graded stakes last time behind Tamara. I guess she'll be elevated to that victory, because I think it's been reported Tamara's going to be disqualified for a medication positive from that race. That's really neither here nor there with regarding her assessing her form in this race. Yeah. I just wonder if A, this trip is going to work out, and B, if she's really good enough, because even when she earned that graded stakes placing last time, Mike, there was just nothing behind her.
Exactly. I still think the first 2 starts of her career are the best races that she's run. And I don't think she's improved at all since then. I know that she just earned a new buyer top, finishing second in a grade 3. I still think the first 2 starts are the best one she's ever run. And I just don't think she's moved forward since then.
Let's go to our picks for this Grade 1 La Brea Race 8 on that Sunday card at Santa Anita. And Mike, we both have the number 9 Formula Rosa in there. She's our second pick. She's the one to beat. You're going to go with the number 8 Her Laugh. And I would imagine the likely trip she's going to get factors into it for you.
I like her sprinting. I like her second off the layoff now because I do feel like when I watched that Churchill race back, it felt like a prep to me. And I feel like she's going to get some pace to run at here. And I do think she gives off the vibes of like a closing sprinter to me. I like her in the spot.
And I don't really know if my top pick, the number 2, so there she was, can be successful coming from as far back as she might have to in this race. But I do think she's coming in career best form. And I'm intrigued by the turn back to 7 furlongs for her. She'll be at price 2,915 for me and 8,943 for Mike in this Grade 1 race on Sunday out at Santa Anita. Everybody, happy holidays and good luck if you're playing the races on opening day at Santa Anita.